everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. I'm in my car, and you're listening to the Nintendo Drive. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Console Caito, the spiciest potato, and on our journey today, we got that Metroid Dread and that OLED Switch, and I may have bought one, and maybe I bought two, so jump on into the Nintendo Drive. Ball.
Here we go! Sean Capri.
We have a little bit of news to talk about today, but mostly we are here to battle, Caito. I think we are.
Oh, we're battling.
People are in
we
for a
already
ride.
know. We already know who's going to win this battle.
What did you say? We were chatting about it before, but you said like, what are we're pointing out each other's shortcomings. Is that really the title of the show this week?
Yes.
Should be fun. I'm prepared, but it's all just part of being a Nintendo fan in my book. It's some days you go as planned, and some days you accidentally or change your mind, and you end up ordering not just one OLED Switch, but two, and then you'll take one back. And there's a whole story to tell about all this, Caito. I'm sure we'll jump into it.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait. So let's go ahead. We're going to clean out the garage here because I've got to hear this story. I haven't heard it yet either. As always, a reminder that you can listen to the Nintendo Drive on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places, but also on YouTube, youtube.com/Yumi Capri. We do have a YouTube comment this week from Snapfish, who was actually replying to our question or request from last week and says, "My kids, 8 and 11, love Smash, and it was a huge part of surviving quarantine. When schools closed in March of 2020 and they were all of a sudden home and couldn't see their friends, Smash became their online connection to them. There were several friends who didn't have the game, and between birthdays and early holiday gifts, we got the whole group on the game.
I
so
love
they could
that.
set up online play dates. Even now back in school and out of quarantine, they still play on weekends." Which is so fun.
That's the best. And that all gets into the chat we had last week. And like the get-togethers, the memories that are created through Smash, I feel like is just as important or memorable as the game itself. Sometimes we just hone in on like the characters or the mechanics of the game, but it's more than that. And that really Nintendo games in general, but especially Smash. So it's been fun kind of hearing a bunch of stories. There's lots of other comments on the YouTube channel about memories of people getting together through Smash, which I love to see.
Yes. And that's just a reminder for me that like maybe it's just not meant for me, Mm-hmm. And it's just meant for other people, which is great. I love that.
Yeah, about 30 million other people. Or so.
Exactly.
It's Animal Crossing for other people too,
So true. You can also support the show and get early access and exclusive perks at patreon.com/Yumi Capri. And we want to thank our newest patron, Jordan LaRose. So thank you so much for joining the Patreon. We appreciate that so much. And let's jump into the playlist. We've both actually been playing some things.
All the games.
Sean, how was Metroid Dread? I have to know.
Metroid has, I have to eat a little bit of crow on pretty much everything we're going to talk about today. We came out of E3, everybody was hyped about Metroid. I was like, okay, it looks fine. And for whatever reason, I don't know, I can't remember the pinpoint moment where I changed my mind. I think it was like realizing that there wasn't a whole heck of a lot coming out on Switch, and I was like, I kind of just want to play a game on the Nintendo Switch in October. So I guess that'd be Metroid. So I probably should go ahead and pick that up. And I'll be damned, Caito. This game is awesome, and I love it very, very much. I streamed it the other night, but I feel like you were watching me saying this stream kind of proved that it wasn't for you. So as much as I want to talk about my experience with it, I'm curious to know like your take on watching the stream a little bit.
Yeah, I just honestly feel like Metroidvania type of games just aren't my thing. I just, I can get into a side-scrolling platformer, but something about that style is just not it for me. And I think a lot of it has to do with there's so much memory and puzzle solving involved with it, and I just can't. I do... In things like Zelda, especially Breath of the Wild, it's so open world and if there's ever something that I can't figure out, I can just move on and go do something else.
Right.
But in something like that, if you can't figure it out, it's just
you will not progress.
Game over.
Well,
And that would just frustrate me.
I have to say that for all those reasons is one of the reasons I like it. And one of the reasons I wasn't totally stoked on Metroid to begin with was my memory of how Samus, the main character, controls was very stiff. And instantly, as soon as I fired this game up, which it really gets into the action pretty quickly after some brief setup, which, to be honest, I don't really understand what's going on. She lands on a planet. There's like a parasite of some sort, and a robot is chasing Samus. That all is fine, and some people are totally geeking out on that. That's awesome. For me, this game is about the gameplay and the fluidity of it. And Samus just feels like when you jump, it feels awesome. And she's got a great slide, and her weapon, her blaster, kind of feels really awesome. So right from the start, I was kind of taken by that and kind of realized that that's the sort of thing that you have to kind of get your hands on. You know, like I was seeing the exact same thing that they were showing. A lot of the cutscenes that I was watching were the same as the trailers that they've been showing, and certainly Nintendo's been hyping up this game a lot lately. But it was the feel. It was once I got into that situation that like those cutscenes actually made sense to me and they mattered, and the actual like the gameplay, the moment to moment gameplay started to feel really, really good. And the hook of a Metroidvania is the discovery. So it can be the same thing that turns you off is the thing that like I really like is I'm running into an area and I'm like, I can't really get there yet. There's a door that it looks like I should be able to like blast open this door, but it's got like an extra shield on it or something. So I'll have to come back to that later. Man, I'm only a couple hours in. I should be clear about that. I'm not done the game yet. Ryan Turford is now. I think he spent maybe 7 hours and he just blasted his way through the thing.
Wow!
And him and I are actually going to be doing a full-on review of it. I'm going to spend the next couple of nights playing more of this thing, but it totally. Like I did a 180 on this thing from being so not interested in it to being so glad that I have it. And so yeah, I'm going to be playing a little bit more. I know there's a lot of people playing it right now. I'm really curious to see how well it has sold. But
I was about to ask you, have you seen any information on the sales yet, or we will not have that for a little bit?
I think you know what, by our chances but with our luck, we'll probably they'll tweet it like
tomorrow.
In an hour. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the main hook, I think, really being like you can explore quite a lot. You can, fight the enemies, and then an Emmy, like the big dog robot thing, is going to be chasing after you. So that's the one part that could turn some people off, and I think that might have turned you off of the game a little bit too, where the difficulty certainly ramps up at that point. Like you've got to really run away, and it can sense you from pretty far away. But as a Metroidvania should, I'm starting to get like the abilities to become stronger and more powerful and more capable in all of the things, in either escaping Emmy or getting through different areas. And so for whatever reason, it's just a very satisfying thing. Everything just works. Like it's a Metroidvania and it works. I mean, it's its own namesake. So
yeah. Well, that's the one thing I've heard is that it's fairly difficult. But other than that, I've only heard raving reviews about it. So I'm happy that it's doing well. I'm curious to see how well it's sold. And I mean, honestly, I was sitting there. I got my OLED. And we're going to talk more about the OLED here in a little bit. But I was just sitting there looking at the eShop as one does after they get a new Switch. And I was tempted. I was tempted to buy it just because it was there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it just looks pretty. So maybe I should buy it. But then I was just thinking, you know what I think it is? Especially if something is super difficult, I don't want to invest a lot of time learning how to play something that's difficult that doesn't have a long amount of gameplay. Cause if I'm learning like a first-person shooter, obviously I've spent a ton of time playing Halo. Yeah. And gotten decent at it. I'm okay with that because it has the multiplayer aspect and I can continue to play it for years and years and years.
Right, yeah.
Whereas something like Metroid Dread, I'm not going to play for years and years. So I'm not as willing to invest the time in trying to play it. Maybe
it's funny.
That's another thing.
I wouldn't take Ryan Turford's finish time as like any sort of guide. I would have guessed just by how good I am at games compared to him. Like I'm probably looking more like 12 to 15 on this thing, just based on on my skill level. I will say that like time flew by for me. Like I kind of like I started the game and then I was playing and then I looked down again and went like, holy crap, a ton of time has passed. And chatting with some other people, I was letting them know where I was, and they were surprised like how far I had actually kind of progressed in it. So yeah, I'm jiving with this game. I'm not totally storied on all of the Metroid games, but Metroidvanias I've played plenty, and this just has it hits all the right notes. I want to be spending time with like a good set of headphones, because it seems like the sound design bothered you a little bit, but I think the sound design is so creepy and so cool. I'm just not used to. I guess that one of the things that Nintendo fans in general, and I'm right there with them, is like we've never seen Metroid look this good before. And I think I was critical in the early days of like, it's not quite. I'd love to see this on a Series X. Like I'd love to see this on on a beefy PC, which we are not going to be touching that emulation story that Kotaku brought up. But it would look really neat. But still,
but you will be seeing it on an OLED soon.
Maybe I will see it on the OLED soon, Caito. Maybe 2 of them.
Oh my gosh.
It happened.
Well, we also played Tetris Effect Connected.
Ooh, yeah. I forgot that you played this too.
I did. I will admit, I didn't play it for very long.
Yeah.
And I realized very quickly how bad I am at Tetris. And I was getting very frustrated with myself.
Uh-huh.
Now, to be transparent, we were both sent codes for Tetris Effect Connected, so thank you very much for those. Man, I'm bad. I'm bad.
No.
I did the little tutorial. I was like, I need to make sure I know what buttons I'm using.
Right.
And it was going very slow.
Yeah.
And I was very bad.
Oh, no.
And I think I thought I was better than I was until I watched you playing the other day.
Yeah.
And you were playing Tetris 99.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, people are like actually really good at Tetris. I mean, I never make it go down faster than it's supposed to.
Right. Yeah. Why would you?
I never do the speed thing.
Yeah. The hard drop.
Why would I do that?
Press up for a hard drop.
Yeah. Why would I do that? No, I don't want it to go any faster. And then once it's getting, I'm failing even more and more. And then the music's going faster. And it was very stressful.
Oh, wow.
But enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was
funny
like an enjoyable stress.
It's such a Zen type of game, and like there's I feel like if I were to try and describe like the visuals of Tetris Effect Connected, it's kind of like if I push hard on my eye, if I close my eyes and push hard on them, you kind of get like that. I don't know, like shinies. It's kind of like that. Like when I stare at the game and then the background is kind of happening, there's all these colors and it's very sharp. I think that the one thing I was looking for with this game, because I've played it I played Tetris Effect on PlayStation. I played Tetris Effect Connected on Series X last year, and now Tetris Effect Connected on Switch. I was really looking forward to seeing how well like the crispness of the visuals would carry over, because it's not necessarily like a 4K game. And I'm happy to report, at least for me and playing on the screen that I was on, it looked really, really good. Like it still has that very crisp visuals to it, to the point where I almost have to like blink a couple times. Partially because generally when I'm playing Tetris, I think my blink rate per minute is down like 90%. Like I'm just like wide open. I might as well tape my eyelids open. So that plus the visuals are so crisp and very artistic, very beautiful, actually. I think the experience overall is great. And the soundtrack on this one, again, I've played it before, but it's worth mentioning for people for the first time on Switch. I think that the soundtrack on this game is absolutely stellar. Very, very beautiful. And I don't know if you'd noticed whenever you make any one of your moves, it's making like a sound effect as part of the music, like a drum beat or something like that adds to the ambiance and to the sound experience. So you turn your tetramino. Is that how you say it? Tetramino? I'll throw that out there. I don't know.
I didn't know they had names until I started playing this.
It's like a domino and Tetris. Yeah. It's kind of those things put together. It all just works. I didn't get a chance to play the multiplayer side of this, which is a carryover. That's the connected part of Tetris Effect Connected. But I just wanted to jump in really quickly to see how the visuals translated to Switch, and I'm happy to say they look great. And I know the rest of the experience based on my my time with it on Xbox. I know Tetris Effect Connected is a great game. People should definitely check it out. But I'm sad to hear that you might need to practice up a little bit there, Caito.
I need to practice, yeah. How does it compare to Tetris 99 for you?
Yeah, it's a good question, actually. This has more of a point to it, I would say. Like, this is more of like you go on a journey. There's the levels are somewhat like interconnected. Like they come in like batches, at least in the kind of main career or campaign mode. So when they have a very simple objective of, clear 36 lines or something like that, and you'll try to get a high score by enabling like this slow motion Tetris mode of some sort. I don't remember the name of it. So that's where you're getting your score from like F through A or S tier even. And those levels are kind of like batched into threes, and by the end it'll say you took 15 minutes and you got these scores. And so that to me is like that high score chasing, which has its own element of satisfaction versus be the last one, like the last man standing in Tetris 99. It's very the point of it is very different, even though it's still Tetris at its core. I would say I'd probably spend more time in an ongoing fashion in Tetris Effect Connected versus where I'm at with Tetris 99, which is what I did this weekend. I spent an hour, got my 100 points for the Maximus Cup. I've got that Monster Hunter Rise theme, and I'll go back to this. So it brings it completely like 360 degrees, like all the way back to the beginning for me, which was Tetris on Game Boy, Tetris, on NES back in the day. I love having these as my Tetris options on my Nintendo console at this point.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah. I'm going to keep playing it. That's going to be ongoing for me, I feel. Yeah.
It's a nice game to just kind of pass some time. You can just pick up whenever. So that's good. Okay. Breaking news. We have to get into it. There is some news this week. Maybe not Nintendo news.
Yeah, there's us news.
But there is news. So first off, reminder, if you've forgotten, which I don't know how you could, the Direct for Animal Crossing is on Friday, October 15th at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So that's 10 a.m. Eastern time. I'm sorry to anyone on the West Coast. That
no
is
doubt.
Really early.
Early.
But I will be streaming it on my channel, youtube.com/ConsoleCaito, if you want to come hang out.
Ooh.
The more important news, I want everyone to just think back to the past 4 or 5 weeks or so. What has Sean been saying during every single episode? I will not be buying an OLED Switch.
Why would I?
Adamant.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. I have my light. Why would I buy an OLED?
Mm-hmm. This is for other people. Definitely not for me. It costs too much money. The only upgrade is for handheld. Why would I do that? I have my light.
Explain yourself.
Man. Okay, so the end result, we'll Pulp Fiction this a little bit. We'll do a little time travel. The end of the story is the current situation is I have a Switch, a white Switch OLED version ordered from GameStop and another one ordered from Best Buy. That's where we ended up, everybody. How did this happen?
Keep in mind, I only have one.
Yeah, and I will only be keeping one. But at the moment, I have two on order.
I don't know if I believe you.
I'm only keeping one. I absolutely cannot afford to be buying two of these things that I didn't even need one. But this is the power of social media. Nintendo can chalk this one up to both social media and either Donnie Reese or, I don't know, the dozens and hundreds of people that had all been posting. They got theirs or they ordered theirs. They're celebrating it. And man, did it hit like a bit of a FOMO moment for me. But I had it contained. That was, I saw it. Everybody was happy for everybody. That looks great. I definitely don't need one of these things. And in walks my lovely wife, Chelsea. She walks in and she sees me responding to somebody on Twitter and she goes, "Oh, is that the new Switch?" And I said, "Yeah, it looks pretty cool. That white and black." She's like, "Yeah, it looks like a stormtrooper." I'm like, "Yeah, you're cool." And she goes, "So are you ordering one?" And I said, "No, I don't think we need it." I went into my whole thing with her. And she goes, "Well, isn't it? Haven't we had the Switch since like day one, like since the very beginning? I said, yeah. And she's like, how long ago was that? And I said, it was 4 years. And she goes, well, that seems like it's kind of getting old. Like, what if it's kind of running kind of crappy too, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, it kind of is. Like the fans are really loud and who knows how much longer it is. And she goes, we don't want to be in a situation where like we have a chance to trade this thing in and we miss it. Because of course, Tony Baker and who else? Oh man, I'm going to forget off the top of my head. Somebody else was telling me how much money they had gotten in a trade-in. It was like $280. And I'm like, well, that changes things a little bit. That's really the crux of this story, is that I found out how much GameStop was offering for a trade-in. And that kind of did it. I said to her, well, we can get $280 for it. And the new one is $450 Canadian. And she's like, well, just do it. Like, we don't want to be stuck with a brick. And once she put it in those ways, I was like, I guess that kind of makes sense. So off I went. EB Games had them available, and I actually ordered it pretty much instantly. Now the problem is it was online. I had to order the thing online, and I still have to do this trade-in thing. For this whole thing to make sense, the trade-in has to happen, and you can't trade it in online. Like, you'd have to go into the store. They didn't have any in store, so I had to make the thing online. So I made a call, and they said, order online. You can trade in your Switch, and we'll give you the value because we know that you had bought it, and you'll just get the money put towards a gift card. Then when the Switch arrives from the mail, bring it in, return it, rebuy it with your gift card that you got from the trade-in. If that all makes sense, that's what the plan was. Yesterday, I went into GameStop and tried to do this thing that they said I could do, and was met with just what I will call classic GameStop customer service.
Yeah. Just
finding every possible reason to say no to me and wasting an hour of my life. And I'm like, wouldn't it be a shame if this person who you're making life difficult for had a podcast that was, listened to by at least 2 people and went on and kind of talked about this experience? Because GameStop, I'm done with GameStop. There's been kind of little experiences like this that I've had that I haven't really shared on the podcast because I don't really want to do that. But my goodness gracious, this is the last straw. So I will be selling my Switch. It is now on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. I will be purchasing the Switch from Best Buy. It will be here by the end of the week. And I will be returning or canceling my order from GameStop because I am so done
You're just
with
done.
Those mother truckers. Yes.
Why did they say they couldn't do it?
They said because they needed the Switch to be purchased at the same time as the trade-in. So, and the problem is, obviously,
you have
one
to have
is
your
that
Switch to move the stuff over.
Well, that part I actually had taken care of. So that part that's an added wrinkle that usually trips us up. But I've gotten that part taken care of. But it's because the Switch is coming online, but the trade-in is happening in person. And this bonus value, the $280 for the trade-in, is only good up until the 17th. I don't know when my Switch is actually coming in. And so the fact that I couldn't have everything in the same place all at the same time, they couldn't do the trade-in. So for the value, they're like, well, you could take $30 less. And I'm like, honestly, like, I see what you're saying. And $30 really isn't a whole heck of a lot, but that was kind of the thing that 280 being really close to 300 was the one thing that kind of pushed me over. My whole principled stance on this, by the way, like from the beginning, was that I wasn't going to be buying one. And now I wasn't going to like change my mind based on like, well, it's $30 less than so yes, I am exhausted from all of this stuff. It is a mess. I am still excited to get my Switch in, but now I'm also going to be selling this like 4-year-old thing to some stranger on the internet that I also kind of feel bad. I'd rather just go to GameStop so when people buy it refurbished, they get a warranty or something. So I'm a mess, Caito.
To be fair, and I don't have any stock in GameStop, despite everyone else having stock in GameStop.
Apparently.
I did used to work there. Mm-hmm. And depending on who you interacted with, at what level they are in the ranks, I don't know. I was always just what they call a game advisor, which is just the lowest tier. Mm-hmm. I can see what they're saying because it is a promotional thing. So like when you take in a normal trade-in, it's all done by the computer. Like there's nothing we can do. It's just buy the computer, and the updated promotion, the extra money that you get from trading it towards that other system doesn't come until you scan the other system into the computer. However, you said that you read it somewhere online or you talked to someone, right?
On the phone. Mm-hmm,
so that's where it's like, okay, well, then they should have just called like their district manager. They should have called someone. Someone could have made it work, you know, like someone higher up could have made it work for you.
Sure could.
And so that is the
super
frustrating
done.
part.
Super duper done.
Had an amazing experience at my GameStop.
Did you? Okay, we'll balance things out a little bit here.
Because I went in and I wasn't expecting there to be this extra promotion. I just thought I was going to get, I think I looked online and I'm a pro member at GameStop, so I get the extra bonus from that.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'm going to get $220 for this Switch that I'm trading in.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great. I've already put down $50 to reserve it. I'm good. And then I go in there and they're like, oh, you get $260 for your trade-in.
Oh my gosh.
And I already had the $50 down. I was like, this is the best day ever. I'm hardly having to pay anything for this.
I'll take two.
Switch. Yeah. Give me. Well, and they told me, I came in and they were like, well, you better be glad that you pre-ordered it because we only got 5 of them. And it was just the 5 that were pre-ordered. Mm-hmm. That's it. Which is crazy to me. But that's my experience with it.
Oh my gosh. So. And you just got to like take it home and play. Like I've got the GameStop one, like they don't even have like a shipping, like a tracking number on it yet. And this was on Friday. We're now recording this on Tuesday. Like I still don't even know when they think it's going to arrive. So yeah. I see what you're saying. But anyways, I don't want to make it about me. I'm really glad. So what do you think? Like what you got at home, like you're playing with it.
You.
Like, no, it's not about, like you actually have the thing. Like I'll sit here whine and complain about it, but you have it. Like, are you happy? Is it good?
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. I play a lot in handheld.
Yeah.
So anytime there's a new handheld or there's an upgrade to a handheld, I am all over it all the time. Mm-hmm. Are you going to get a Steam Deck now too?
Probs not. Yeah, I know, right? I said no, but yeah, I'm just talking here. Apparently I'm saying words that I will eventually just change my mind on all of this stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it's great. It's beautiful. I love the feeling of it. Like even the updated texture on the back is so nice. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't like that old texture. It leaves so many like fingerprints and oil on the back of the Switch, so I like that. I don't really use the kickstand, but I mean that's nice.
How can you not? When you look at it, it's just like holy cow! It's it's so much better.
It's great. It's beautiful. I mean, Animal Crossing on it is gorgeous, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but me and Ryan are going to do a whole, review of that coming up soon. So
I bet Ryan didn't even know that I was going to be buying one. I wonder if I might jump in on that thing too. Now that I jumped in on it. Although I don't know, I don't want to hold you guys up because you both had it. I'm still waiting. We'll see. But yeah, I think it'll be. I'm definitely coming at it from a different perspective and expectations out of it right from the start. So. Yeah, very interesting. I'm so happy that you had a really good experience with it, though. And I feel like the trade-in wasn't like a thing. I feel like nobody was talking about that before. Like it obviously wasn't on your radar. And I feel like it was maybe it was a Tony Baker who had mentioned he got $280 for a Switch. And I'm like, that's a lot. That's really good. So that changed everything in my mind, at least, on whether I was going to get one.
They're giving me $260 for an old Switch, and it's new $300 US, right?
Is it really? $299? Yeah, I guess so.
It's $299. So
that's crazy. That's even better for you guys.
I was not anticipating it. So it's great. I love it.
Here.
Everyone should go buy one. I don't know if they're available anywhere.
And did you get a white one or did you get red and blue?
I got a white one.
Yeah, it looks so good. Oh my gosh.
I traded in my red and blue. That was always my least favorite. So now I have my gray one, my Animal Crossing one, and my white OLED.
It's a good collection.
And my light.
I love it. Oh my! Well, now I'm going to be, and I'm excited to talk about it when it finally arrives. But that is like I feel like the last straw of how am I going to be using this thing? I've now purchased it. I've gone over that hump of, I said I wasn't going to, but now I'm going to. I'm going to get one. Now am I actually going to use it in handheld over my Switch Lite, or is it really just going to be a replacement for my docked Switch, which I've come to grips with, like that's what it's going to be, but I think what might end up happening is this screen is so gorgeous that I've got a flight coming up. I'll be in Toronto in a couple weeks, and I'm literally thinking, like, which one do I bring? Is it the SWOLED or the Swite? I don't know.
It has to be the OLED.
Has
to
man.
be. Although I do get it because I hardly ever grab my Lite anymore because my son plays on it. But when I do, I'm just like, oh, I just love the size of it. It's just like the perfect little handheld, but the screen is so nice. I don't know. If they only made it easier to play games on both.
I know.
And just go back and forth. That would be really great. But
part of me thinks is I'm going to be playing Switch on a screen when I'm in Toronto, so that might lead me to bring the whole the SWOLED. I'm not sure, but all of my very well documented principles at this point are being completely dumped upside down. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Okay, well, we went over your shortcomings, so it's only fair that you get to go over mine if you want to go ahead and bring it up.
What the heck did you, I feel like you don't have any shortcomings. What the heck did you do?
You sent me a code.
Oh, well, no, that's okay. I
thought it was the same code.
I don't need to jump on you for that, but that is very funny. I reached out to our friend CJ who provided us the Tetris code, and he's like, I already sent one to Caito, and I'm like, hey, check those DMs. And you're like, I thought it was the same code because when the code came in, I like to think, I'm a good person. I'm generous if I can be. And I'm like, hey, we just got this code. I've played this before. Do you want it? And we just kind of like disconnected for a couple of days. And like, okay, I'm like, I guess I'll take it. But I reached back out that's when I reached out to CJ to say, hey, you got another one for Caito? And he's like, she should have hers. So, but I
didn't realize there were two.
There were two. They were different.
There were two.
Yeah.
So thank you again.
Very generous. Yeah. Very cool.
Well, we all need to just recognize that I was right about this. And Sean
I am
needs to recognize
blown
that
away.
I was right.
How is this possible? I did not take into account the wife effect. Like the impact my wife has on purchasing decisions, especially in Nintendo, is like the opposite of I think most spouses, right? Where she was like, "Why haven't you bought that yet?"
Yeah.
Like, get out. Like, here are the keys. Go take care of this right now. Like, those are my responsibilities in the house. Is like make sure we have good internet, fix the computer when it's down, and buy Nintendo stuff when it comes out. Like those are my jobs.
Maybe I just need to get into contact with Chelsea directly from now on.
Yeah, that would
be like,
that'd be best.
This is coming out. Sean keeps telling me he's not getting it.
Yeah.
So can you just go ahead and tell him that he is? Okay,
I hadn't even brought it up to her. Like, we hadn't even talked about it at all. And here we are. She's like, you just go trade that in. That sounds like a good deal. Like, she made it very simple. So
yeah,
that's why I appreciate her.
Okay, well, that's enough about the OLED for today. We will have more of a extensive review about that coming up. But we do have some news about Pokemon Legends Arceus today.
Yeah.
And I read this and my stomach was just like in knots about it.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
That it's not going to be an actual open world game.
Isn't that wild?
It's just going to have open areas.
Yeah.
Why?
It's very interesting because the promotion of it all, and also I don't think that this is really going around like the internet at all. Like, I'm on Twitter a lot. I'm not seeing anybody talking about this. The Pokemon Company came out and said that they kind of clarified what the experience and what people's expectations should be. And this has been presented like Pokemon Breath of the Wild. Like, It looks gigantic, completely wide open. And in like a blog post or a statement to Kotaku, and maybe that's why nobody's talking about it. It's like, it's not that. It's confined spaces and there's like defined areas. It's not a gigantic open world. I'm very interested to see what the actual game will be. Maybe they're just trying to walk our expectations back from Breath of the Wild to something else. What the actual game is going to be will be interesting to see. But your stomach is in knots over this, Caito.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm going to play it anyway, and I'm sure it'll be great. Mm-hmm. It's just, why not put the extra time? I guess I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, why can't it be an open world, you know?
And then what is the difference then, really, from, like, is it going to be that much different from what we kind of already have? I'm excited to, like, ride all the Pokemon, like the Baskin Legion and the Weirdeer or whatever it's called. Like, they look awesome. I'm honestly might be most excited about that stuff. But what are the landscapes that we're going to be riding around in? Like, that's the part for me that there's still hope that this still will feel big and open and we can explore, is because, like, why else would you have those animals? Why would you have those transport options if it's...
But is it just going to be like Sword and Shield, where it was just, you know, the wild area?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
That's it? Mm-hmm. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It seems a little deceptive too, I will say, because we've seen this a couple of times, and this is kind of coming... This, you know, it's about as late as would be maybe acceptable. Like, they couldn't do this like a week before and go, by the way, not really all that open world. Like, they couldn't have delayed this sort of clarification any longer. But I with that said, I think I would have liked this clarification even earlier. I think they were just kind of riding the Pokemon, pardon the pun, but just like the name a little bit. And they go, open world plus Pokemon, and like have fun and buy it. But at a certain point, people are going to want to know what the hell this thing is. So yeah, that's the truth is coming out soon enough.
Yeah. I'll be curious to learn more and see what other people think. So
yeah, same here. It doesn't completely ruin or sour it for me, but yeah, I'm watching you, Arceus, or whatever you're called.
Okay, and last news story, there is a new game trial. This week. It's going to start on the 13th. The Jackbox Party Pack 6 will be available for online members to try, and it'll be available to purchase for 30% off. So that's fun.
So good.
I know people stream that.
Yes, it's very good to stream, super fun to play with, with your communities or with your favorite streamers or with your family as we're coming up on the holiday season. Maybe people are getting together and hopefully being safe about all that. To me, like, Jackbox is that. Like, that's when I think of these Jackbox games, I think about hanging out with my family. And the Switch is so portable that it's really easy to bring wherever you're going to be meeting people, and super fun for that. Highly recommend. Love that there's these free trials. It seems like every week, I feel.
I know. Yeah, they've been doing really good about these.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
That. Okay, we do have a few questions this week as well. First question comes from Brian over in Discord. How do you juggle being a content creator and work-life balance? Do you ever find it being too much?
Yeah, sometimes. How about you? You're the mom though. Like, I feel like dads might have a different role in the house. I feel like it can be even more challenging for you. I don't know why that is. It's like, you guys actually know what's going on. Where, at least for me, like, from my perspective, dads are like, whatever you say, whatever we're doing. Right. I'm here to help.
Well, to be fair, Todd does a lot in
That's
that
nice
regard
to hear.
Because, you know, I stream on the weekends, so he has my son during that. Mm-hmm. And then beyond that, I normally do my filming and editing at night after my son goes to bed.
Right.
And then I also have a couple off days during the week as well while my son is at school that I can work on stuff too. So I would say, I don't know. And I also work.
Here's a live example of how I do it. Are you ready?
On your lunch break?
Yeah, I do it on my lunch break. Hi there. Can I please get 2 large Diet Cokes and a large coffee with 2 Splenda? That's all for me. Thank you. Yeah. That is exactly how I balance everything. I do 2 shows at lunchtime. I'm driving in my car to get out of the house so that the kids aren't like running around. I used to have to drive to an office before the COVID situation happened. Mm-hmm. But this is a huge portion for me of how this all works. And then we hire a Ryan Turford producer man to put it all together and post it and put it up on the YouTubes and everything. So that has all kind of that's how kind of the balance has happened. But I think for both of us, Caito, like, I think both of our spouses like really believe in us and see that this is something that matters to us and that we enjoy, and we kind of, that makes it a priority as a household, as a couple, that whatever it takes to like support the other person to make sure that that happens, like that's what we do.
Right. Yeah.
So
I agree. And I think he also realizes that it's like, I don't want to say this is a once in a lifetime thing, but like, you know, a lot of people would love to be in my situation. So I'm trying to take advantage of that. And, you know, what I do is very game specific right now. So I'm trying to take advantage of that. So whenever I find it being too much, I just try to take a step back and like, okay, you know, a lot of people really want this. Yeah. So you should be grateful for everything that you're able to do, and I enjoy it. So, yeah.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, it is. And it can be easy to bite off more than you can chew. I don't know, like, at least for me, like, there's just so much, especially with everything that's happened this year. And, you know, this show is brand new and everything that Ryan is doing, there's so much happening. So, checking yourself on that front can be important too. Hi there.
Yeah. Okay, next question comes from Brendan Myers at The Winter Gamer over on Twitter.
Thank
you. Do you have
any
too. Game save files that you will never save over or delete because they mean so much to you? I was thinking about restarting my Animal Crossing file, but I couldn't because it's an island that Bobby visited and got to have big excitement going on Discord.
Thank you. Wow. Way to set the bar high there, Brendan Myers. Holy cow. Do you have any save games that you sort of like don't remove or want to keep in the time capsule, so to speak?
Oh yeah. Like my first Animal Crossing island, I will not delete. Yeah. And I will, you know, remove the stuff on it, but I won't delete the actual file, if that makes sense. Like I'll delete stuff on the island, but I won't remove it just because, I've had it since the day it came out, and I just, it's sentimental for whatever reason. I think my Breath of the Wild save, I don't want to ever delete. Yeah. I feel like when I do delete stuff like that, I regret it later. Like I deleted my original New Leaf save file, and because I wanted to play again or whatever, and I regretted it. So big time. I try not to do that. I will say, you know, it's not quite fair because I have multiple Switches and islands. So, you know, I can start up another save file on another Switch. So it's harder if you only have one to make that decision. But I agree, you know, if it was something that Bobby had visited, or I have, you know, my friend Emily, she won't delete hers because she is friends with Bobby on that island. So that makes it a lot harder.
Well, Bill is on my island. Bill is the first one that there's not a chance, you know, and you don't even have like the option to cloud save or anything like that. And I will say that whenever you do, and maybe just time will tell on this for Nintendo fans, but every once in a while I'll fire up a game on Xbox or something like that. And Xbox does such a great job of like, here's your save file. Like you haven't looked at this since like 2009, but here it is. And there is a special sense that kind of comes back to you like, oh, wow, like this was preserved for me since then. And it brings back all the moments from that time. For Nintendo, I think it is the Animal Crossing one. There's no way. I should probably fire that up and just, at the very least, and in honor of Bobby, like take care of the weeds.
Just go check on Bill, too.
Just check on Bill. Make sure he's not going to leave me. You know, and maybe he's taking care of the weeds. I doubt it, but probably should do that. A specific game file though that I want to save, and it's kind of a different take on this, is the Mass Effect save file that I have on Xbox. And I think that the reason for saving or having these save files that are special to us is like the progress that you put into it. Like with Animal Crossing, like you've built those things. But in terms of like a game like that I just finished, I don't think that will almost like never register for me. But there's so much agency in a game like Mass Effect, and I think there's a lot of agency in a game like Animal Crossing and things like that, where you make choices. So that save file that is there is a result of your decision making and what you put into it. Versus, like if I wouldn't save like a Metroid save file, I don't think, because I'm just like, I just finished it. I just completed the task. So I think it just depends on the game. But yeah, a lot of RPGs kind of have that, where this save file, the result of wherever I am in that game, is a result of the choices I've made and the quests that I've kind of completed. So Mass Effect jumped up in my mind for that one.
Well, and speaking of save files, I just want to reiterate, and we will talk about this more when we do the full OLED review. Moving all my stuff over was such a pain. Yes. And I'm so tired of doing that.
Yes. Another one of the reasons I didn't want to do any of this stuff. But yeah, I do not look forward to that whenever mine arrives. Oh, that sucks.
And I had to do it twice.
Yeah.
Because I had to move it from one to my light, and then from my light to the OLED. And I haven't even finished because I was like, look, I can't be bothered.
That's what I heard.
I just moved over Animal Crossing, and I was like, I'll do the rest later.
Oh my gosh. Marty Estes was saying the same thing, that I don't know if he was lamenting it quite as much, but he was just like, this is a multi-day process. It's like, what? What do you mean?
Because you have to re-download everything, and then I think some of it I might be doing wrong, so it's probably a little bit of user error.
Oh, yeah.
But it makes it seem like you have to move every save data file over. And I do it individually because I'm scared that if I don't, it's not going to be there. If the cloud thing doesn't work right or whatever. So it's
that's
awful.
not where you want to be when you're moving any data at all. It is like any sort of uncertainty. You're like, I hope I'm doing this right. Like, no, that's a gross place to be. And that's why it takes you so long, because you're second guessing everything. You don't want to miss anything. You don't want to lose anything. I know the feeling.
The fact that you can't just move your SD card over from one Switch to the other Switch without reformatting it.
Oh, man. And re-downloading, I think, is probably how I'd have to go about this. Oh, my God. I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah. More complaining coming next week at your
Okay, one more question. We kind of talked about this earlier, and this is about Metroid Dread. This is from Nagachaka. Metroid Dread is a hard game that has been kicking my butt. Boss fights require multiple playthroughs to learn enemy patterns, and the enemies are relentless, but I'm loving every minute of it. Definitely a Game of the Year contender. Should this game have included an easy mode? Why or why not?
What's your take on this? I don't know that I've heard you kind of tackle the difficulty question yet.
I like when games have multiple options.
Yeah.
Even Tetris had a beginner mode.
Yeah, that's true.
When I was playing Tetris Effect, I didn't do it. I normally go with the normal option.
Yeah.
And just play it out. But I like having the option of an easy mode. So I would say yes, it should. Because that just makes it more accessible. And I like everything to be as accessible as possible. So I would say yes.
Well, and it's funny, especially as you frame it that way. Like, I don't know. I'm an abled person. I can play games. I also understand if a game is built a certain way and I'm not able to complete it, whether it's difficulty or not. Like, sometimes difficulty comes in various forms of those enemies are too hard, or that those blocks come down too fast, or there are puzzles that I just don't understand. Like, there's a lot of different forms of difficulty. So I actually think it's kind of a gigantic topic to tackle. Should Metroid come with a variety of difficulty options? I think for me personally, I'm okay with it not having other options. I'm okay with it just being, this is the game, and I will try to learn it. Yeah. But I don't want to make like a sweeping statement that like it should or shouldn't for other people. I think people are right if they experience and come into contact with Metroid and go, this is too hard for me, it should have an easy mode. It's probably fair for that person to say that, but it's not really up to me, I don't think, to make such a sweeping commentary on whether or not games should have that. I think it gets really complicated in terms of, the developer's vision and what that even means. Like, is it part of their vision to have like a cripplingly difficult game? I do think, on that note, I think there is something to be said about the the atmosphere and what you actually get out of the game. I think the difficulty is part of that. I don't know that it would land as well on an easy mode, but at the same time, when somebody else is playing on easy, if it's a Metroid game, they're playing on easy, that might still be difficult for them.
Right.
So it's kind of all relative. So yeah, a bit of a topic to explore. I feel like this generally prompts like a set of two camps to come into. Like there's like a gatekeeping camp of, it definitely shouldn't have an easy mode, and if you want that, then you suck. Like you should be better at games and get good and all that kind of stuff. I obviously don't agree with that, but there's kind of like the polar opposite side that people demand that there should be a baby mode for absolutely everything, and I don't think that I agree with that either. I think it should be on a bit more of an individual basis. Yeah. For me, I get a lot out of the fact that Metroid is challenging because it feeds into the story. You're like, she's alone on this desolate planet. Like, it probably should be hard. And I get a lot out of overcoming those challenges. So, I don't know. I don't know that there's like a tied bow or ribbon to put on this, but that's kind of my take on that.
I agree. I like that. Yeah, maybe we'll delve into that a little bit more later, on a later date. I like that topic.
When you finally change your mind and you buy a Metroid, I'd like to know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd like to know your take on it.
I'm tempted. I don't know why I'm tempted, but I am.
Yes,
even though
just do
I think
it.
I'm not going to like it.
It's not going to go on sale at any time.
It's not.
It's the whole reason I end up buying Nintendo games to begin with. Like they have locked that down.
Well, and you changed my mind about Monkey Ball. I'm going to wait until Black Friday.
Yeah, I saw somebody else playing that too. I'm like, I had to fight the urge. I had to fight the FOMO on that. But I think the best move is a Black Friday buy on that one.
Just to wait, It's just a month away or so.
Yeah,
okay.
We're almost there.
Well, we need to wrap it up. Sean, where can everyone find you on the internet?
I have been looking forward to talking to you about all these things for so long. I had so much fun. I would love it if people would follow me on Twitter at Sean Capri. It's Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. We're going to be playing some community stuff on Saturday at twitch.tv/Sean Capri, Back for Blood over on Xbox. But I would love it if people threw me a follow and support it over on Twitch.
Okay, and you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Console Caito. That is all for episode 25 of the Nintendo Drive. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, make sure you do go and follow Sean on Twitter and just let him know that I was right about the OLED.
The Nintendo Drive is fueled by patrons at patreon.com/YumiCapri, and from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful to the nearly 70 patrons who support us each and every month, with our special thanks to our Capremium producers, Dallas Ford, Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team, and Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on this show and the Xbox Drive. You can support Jonathan at youtube.com/PM Entertainment. Our platinum producers, Robbie Bobby Miller and Trucker Sloth. Our gold members, Argo, Benji Kong, Brendan Myers, Dallas Robbins, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Foolish Fuji, Heather Boney, James Johnson, Joel Brooks, Jose Jimenez, Mac Time, Marcus O'Neill, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, RJ Kern, Skinny Matt, and Xavier Reyes. If you enjoyed this show and you'd like to support independent content, you can go to patreon.com/YumiCapri and choose the tier that's right for you.